You don't need to be fearless to change your life or inspire others. All it takes is the spark to show up, to take that first step despite the weight of doubt pressing against your chest. The idea that you need to have everything figured out, that you must feel strong, confident, or calm before acting, is a myth the world has sold you. On my YouTube channel, WisdomWavesAura, we dive into this truth. Courage isn't about being ready, it's about moving forward anyway. The people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, they're not immune to fear. They just refuse to let it define them. They show up trembling, uncertain, and human, and that's what makes them extraordinary. Courage doesn't always look like a hero charging into battle. Sometimes it's quieter, softer, almost invisible. It's you, sitting alone in the dark, deciding to try again. It's the moment you choose to speak when silence feels safer. It's the choice to stay present, to feel the discomfort instead of numbing it with endless scrolling or empty promises of later. Life isn't kind, it presses, it tests, it asks for more than you think you can give. But the real tragedy isn't the pain or the fear, it's letting those things win by staying small, by hiding, by waiting for a version of yourself that might never arrive. The Stoics understood this. Seneca, a man who faced exile and loss, wrote that simply living can be an act of courage. On WisdomWavesAura, we explore how these ancient ideas still light the way today. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't pause until you're confident or healed or certain. The trap is believing in later. Later when you're stronger, later when you know more, later when the fear is gone. But later is a thief. It steals your momentum, your fire, your chance to become who you're meant to be. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic thinker we often discuss on WisdomWavesAura, asked himself a question that cuts through the noise. What if this is your last moment? Not to be grim, but to be clear. If you knew your time was short, would you spend it hiding? Would you let fear decide what you say, what you do, who you become? Or would you act right now, with whatever you have, however messy or uncertain it feels? Courage is walking through the fog when you can't see the path ahead. It's taking action before the fear fades, because waiting for fear to disappear is like waiting for the wind to stop blowing. It's not going to happen. Doubt doesn't disqualify you, it just means you're human. There's a part of you that wants to stay safe, to avoid the risk, to keep things small and predictable. It whispers that you're not enough, that you need to be more, know more, feel more. But that voice isn't wisdom, it's fear in disguise. True wisdom, as we explore on WisdomWavesAura, isn't about avoiding pain, it's about carrying it with grace, about recognizing that discomfort is a signal, not a stop sign. It's the universe telling you you're brushing up against something real, something that matters. Growth doesn't feel like growth in the moment, it feels like friction, like resistance, like awkward, fumbling steps into the unknown. But that's where the magic happens. That's where you become someone new. You don't need to eliminate fear to move forward. You just need to stop letting it drive. Let it sit there, in the passenger seat, muttering its warnings. Let your hands shake, let your heart race, but keep going. On WisdomWavesAura, we talk about how the people who inspire us, whether they're ancient philosophers or modern creators, didn't wait for perfect conditions. They acted despite their fear, not because they were stronger or braver than you, but because they refused to let fear shrink them. They chose to show up, flaws and all, and that choice made all the difference. A Stoic whose teachings we unpack on WisdomWavesAura said it best: first decide who you want to be, then do what you have to do. Not tomorrow, not when you feel better. Now, this moment is all you have. And the question isn't whether you feel good enough, it's whether you're willing enough. Willing to carry your uncertainty like a badge of honor. Willing to walk with doubt instead of letting it chain you. Willing to do the hard thing, not because you're sure it'll work, but because it's right. The world doesn't need your perfection, it needs your presence. It needs you to show up, trembling, flawed and unstoppable. Every day is asking you one question: will you rise, or will you retreat? If you're still here, still reading, still listening to that quiet voice inside you, then you already know the answer. You weren't meant to live hidden. You were meant to live wide open, raw, and real. On WisdomWavesAura, we dive into stories of people who faced their fears and found their strength not in grand, dramatic moments, but in the small, quiet choices that no one else sees. Like Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, who lost everything in a shipwreck only to discover a deeper purpose. He said he made a prosperous voyage when he suffered that loss, because it forced him to rebuild, to rethink, to return to his true path. What looks like disaster might be the very thing that sets you free, but you'll never know if you don't stay in the fight. Transformation isn't always loud or obvious. It's not a movie montage with swelling music and a clear turning point. Most of the time, it's invisible. It happens in the moments when you choose to keep going, even when everything in you screams to stop. It's in the stillness of deciding to try again, in the courage of facing a truth you've been avoiding. On WisdomWavesAura, we explore how these small choices shape you, how they build a life of meaning, not comfort. The Stoics didn't aim for a painless life, they aimed for a meaningful one. They believed you were built for hardship, not to suffer, but to grow sharper, stronger, more alive through it. Discipline isn't about controlling every detail of your life, it's about mastering how you respond to it. When you feel lost or small or paralyzed, remember this. You don't need to banish fear. You just need to stop giving it power. Let it tag along if it must, but don't let it steer. Most people you look up to, whether they're creators, leaders, or thinkers we talk about on WisdomWavesAura, were terrified when they started. They didn't feel ready. They had every reason to stay quiet, to stay safe. But they made a different choice, not because they were fearless, but because they refused to let fear make them smaller than they were. That's the secret. It's not about being stronger or braver or better. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's hard, even when you're not sure, even when you feel like you're failing. Those moments, the ones where you push through the discomfort, where you choose to act despite the trembling. In your bones, those are the moments that define you. They're the ones that make life deep, rich, and worth living. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the refusal to worship it. And that kind of courage is already inside you, waiting to be uncovered. It's buried beneath the excuses, the hesitation, the belief that you're not enough. You don't need to find it too, just need to stop hiding from it. Stop waiting to feel unafraid. Stop chasing perfection. Stop thinking you need to have all the answers before you begin. On WisdomWavesAura, we talk about how to embrace this truth. You already have the strength to carry fear and still move. You have the strength to be hurt and still show up. You have the strength to fail and start again. Every choice to keep going, no matter how small, is a victory. Every step forward, no matter how shaky, is progress. The world doesn't need you to be flawless. It needs you to be present. It needs you to show up, not with certainty, but with courage. In the end, no one will remember how perfectly you planned or how long you waited for the right moment. They'll remember that you showed up when it was hard, when it mattered, when every part of you wanted to run. On WisdomWavesAura, we celebrate these quiet victories, the ones fought in private, with no crowd, no applause. These are the moments that make you who you are. Not the easy wins, but the hard ones. The ones you earn through grit and grace. So whatever you're facing, stop waiting. Stop rehearsing. Stop trying to outrun your fear. Instead, walk with it. Let it be part of the journey, but don't let it decide the destination. You were never meant to live a life of later. You were meant to live now, fully, fiercely, imperfectly. Show up. That's the whole secret. Show up with courage, and watch how the world opens up to meet you. Tune in to WisdomWavesAura for more stories, insights, and tools to help you uncover your courage and live a life that's wide open, trembling, flawed, and unstoppable.